You like movies?
Yeah, I like movies.
So do the boys on We Doing Filmographies.
What is...
As they crank out episodes on rad actors they like, you can discover that Ray Liotta's first role has him doing a bad thing with a hose.
Are you talking to me, though?
Or how in Ding-a-Ling List, Robert Longstreet donates his penis to his penisless best friend.
Kind of feel like you're doing...
Does that sound pretty cool?
Yeah.
Not as cool as Brad Pitt seeing his reflection for the first time and saying he looks like Mother.
Okay, I don't know what...
Tune in to We Doing Filmographies podcast on all podcast platforms and listen to Jason and Jules wade through garbage, gold, and boredom one movie at a time.
Wait, us?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what we doing filmographies.
You're listening to Champion Cinema with Chris and Chris.
Hey folks, welcome to Champion Cinema. I'm Chris with a Carl Weathers C.
Yes, and I'm Chris with a corn blue cake.
Corn bleu. Yeah, welcome to the show. This week we have a kind of random double bill. There's reasons why we're doing these movies. We're going to do The Wraith from 1986 because we talked about it a couple of weeks ago and thought it sounded interesting. Neither of us have seen it. And we're going to take a look at Action Jackson to, pay tribute to the late Carl Weathers, who passed away just when we put up the last show.
Yeah, absolutely sad. R.I.P. God rest his soul.
Yeah, 76, died peacefully in his sleep. I mean,
Yeah, that's if you're going to do it, yeah. And he'd had a recent resurgence and stuff, the Mandalorian and whatnot. And
it's kind of one of those like interesting, cool things when someone like that passes away and you see like the different generations or just different people that recognise him from different things. Obviously, Rocky.
Yeah.
People of a certain age, and then people that like love him from Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
And then past few years from Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
Yeah,
so,
they're really like colourful. Although he never like quite became that main leading man in some ways.
No, which is a shame.
Obviously films like Action Jackson happened and stuff, but never really hit that Sylvester Stallone, Arnie sort of level of fame.
Which is a shame.
But still, great career and stuff.
Hell of a career. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about those later.
Nice.
Sorry about the delayed shows. I've been poorly, but it's just so typical that we'll like we'll start again, we'll relaunch and instantly delete.
Yeah, first time for COVID for you as well.
Yeah, broke my streak. I never had a sniff of COVID in 4 years.
Mad. Well, at least we had our injections and whatnot, so...
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was just a bad cold, really.
Yeah. No.
Well, I still have a weird... My taste did go for a bit, but that's back. And I do still have now and then a weird scent in my nose that I can't get rid of.
Yeah, I kind of had that for a bit, like pencil shavings.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Fuck, I thought I was the only one. I always just hear people go, "Oh, I just like smell an awful smell," but it literally smells like wood chips.
Yeah, yeah. It hung around for ages. It was like
awful.
really weird.
Like it generally makes us feel sick. Like after if I sniff a couple of times, 'cause I'm still a bit chesty. Sniff a couple of times, I feel gross. Like it's just an awful taste in the back of my throat. Fuck, I'm so glad you said wood shavings. I thought it was just me being mental.
No, it must be something. It's probably I don't know the smell of like congealed blood in your nose. Is what
Probably.
You're like,
it's the true smell of COVID.
Champion Cinema.
So The Wraith was released in 1986, runs for 1 hour and 33 minutes, directed by Mike Marvin. We haven't done this for a while. German title. Oh, it's a good one, actually. But this should have been the actual English title. It is Interceptor, Phantom of Eternity.
Nice. Phantom of Eternity.
That's amazing. If they made a sequel, it should have been called Phantom of Eternity. It stars Charlie Sheen as Jake, Sherilyn Fenn as Kerry, Nick Cassavetes as Packard, Randy Quaid as Sheriff Loomis, Matthew Berry as Billy, and Clint Howard as Rughead. But what's it all about?
Yes, well, after a young man is murdered, in order to bring revenge to his tormentors, he is ushered back to the world of the living by his mystical car. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I've got a tagline for you. Part Crow, part Robocop, all Wraith.
It's very much this film. And part Knight Rider as well, obviously.
Yeah, I would say part Knight Rider, yeah. It's a bit of everything. There is a few things about it, though, like, as far as The Crow goes. This was, I mean, when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, I'm noticing weird similarities, but I'm pretty sure The Crow comic was already out by 86, but it wasn't, it was 89,
Yeah,
so it came
of course
after.
A bit after, yeah.
But then you've got a character called Skank, who is not in the comic.
Yeah.
It was like a movie creation.
Yeah.
And if you look at what's Skank's mate called in this, Gutter Boy.
Gutter Boy, yeah.
You mix those two characters together, and you've got Skank from the movie Crow.
Yeah, there's a weird crossover of like Skank and Gutter Boy and Fun Boy and Skank, and like I said, a crossover over the comics.
Yeah,
and the
I wouldn't be
movies.
surprised if this had an influence on the movie script.
Yeah.
At least a little bit, because the plot's very similar. Guy comes back from the dead to avenge his murder against the gang of scumbags.
Yeah.
There's a character called Skank.
Yeah.
If only Randy Quaid was in The Crow. That's all I'm going to say.
He could have been the guy in the pawn shop, maybe.
Oh, that would have been amazing. Although no, because I like John Polito too much.
Well, true.
But if you were going to put him in, he definitely would have been that character. Yeah. Or the guy like flogging hot dogs. He's got a little cameo.
So just go wild with it. He could have been like the main dude, Michael Thingamajig. Just get him in a wig and that. I'm just trying to imagine him in like the craziest of roles.
But he just plays it like Cousin Eddie.
You serious, Clark?
I guess first thing we should talk about is Charlie Sheen is top billed.
Second time, right?
But he's barely in it.
No, well, yeah. So as the sort of quote goes, somewhat paraphrasing here, but it was a pit stop on the way to filming Platoon.
Yeah.
So he literally he filmed it. I mean, this film was like filmed in 28 days, and the shot it, and he went straight on to film Platoon to the point where they hadn't even had time to get all the shots that they needed. Hence the reason why there's another guy playing the person that gets stabbed at the start of the movie.
Oh, is that
Jamie.
why?
Yeah, that's.
I thought it was just this was his disguise because no one recognises him. And stuff.
The original plan was it was going to be him throughout the entire thing, and he was going to play Jamie as well and stuff at the start. But there just wasn't enough time, and he had to go to film Platoon.
Yeah, but surely they would have had to have made him look a little bit different in those flashbacks because no one recognises him.
This is the thing, right? I mean. It's looking about online. It seems to be the common thing that people say about it, but for what it is, it doesn't hurt the film at all. It actually makes more sense that they don't, that he comes back with a different face and stuff. Yeah. So that people don't recognise him immediately and go, "Wait a minute, you're just Jamie," and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. It doesn't hurt the movie. It kind of makes sense. So whether they planned it all or not, or whether it is as it's supposed to be, it just didn't have time. But I think it. Obviously, the film had loads of horrendous problems getting made and stuff.
Someone died.
Yeah, the camera operator.
Yeah, the movie's dedicated. When I saw the dedication at the end, I went, "Oh, no, what all that's about." But then, the camera truck toppled and he died. It's just really fucked up.
Yeah,
you never want that, obviously. Filming that would be the one thing. It's I've always thought if I'd made a movie, so I'd love to make a heavy stunt movie, but I think I just couldn't.
Yeah,
I'd be too anxious.
Yeah, it's one of the good things about CGI. For all everyone moans and pisses about CGI, me included. But if it means somebody doesn't have to be crushed by a car or something and die to make a film, then so be it. CGI car crashes all day long.
Yeah.
But second. So Charlie Sheen's previous movie, I was looking it up, is the Boys Next Door in 1985. So this is his second, I guess, proper big, role in a movie. Yeah,
I guess he would have filmed his little cameo in Ferris Bueller in '86 as well. That came out in '86, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I love the trivia that I saw as well going into this about. Oliver Stone was annoyed. He went to the cinema to see this.
Yeah, I love that. And he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, Charlie!"
He was worried it was gonna I guess besmirch the movie, the Platoon's launch. Yeah, and people "Oh, that guy from that shit film."
Well, that's what I was saying during the '86 show. I was confused, because I've always, I've never seen the Wraith, but I've heard of it, and it's a kind of campy sci-fi action movie. And it just seemed weird that he made that the same year as Platoon, but it makes way more sense now that he just filmed it on the way to Platoon, basically. So I got a couple of days. I'll pop in.
Get those. It's just a quick book, isn't it, for a young and up and coming actor?
Yeah.
bless
And
him.
to his credit, I mean, like I said, he's barely in it, but you know, Charlie Sheen's a charismatic actor, and like when he does pop up, like he's good in it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's hard because I've binged Hot Shots 1 and 2 too much.
I know.
So whenever I see Charlie Sheen in anything, I can only think Hot Shots.
Well, I think it's hard as well because like Charlie Sheen doesn't really change his acting style in the Hot Shots movies. He still delivers everything straight. So when he's doing his Charlie Sheen voice, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's certain lines in this where I was like waiting for a stupid punchline.
Totally. The Charlie Sheen effect.
Yeah.
But no, for what he does in this movie, he's pretty good actually. Yeah, definitely.
It is interesting though, with like him. Obviously, you see the Wraith a lot, who is him in the movie. But it's funny that because you don't see Charlie Sheen, like he's in probably I would guess like 15 minutes overall. He's in the movie like as just himself. But because of that, though, it becomes like a revenge movie from the point of view of the bad guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it concentrates mainly on the bad guys' like reaction to being like attacked by this crazy guy in a phantom car.
It's definitely something I picked up on that. Like the flashbacks kind of give you a sense of what's going on, but you're very much like you're in danger of liking the bad guys and feeling bad when they die. Personally, I was certainly with like Skank and Gutter Boy. I was like, no, like the main stars of the movie.
No, the mad brain damaged druggies. No.
I fucking love them. Great comedy duo. I just wanted a Skank and Gutter Boy movie.
Yeah, they're like the Jane Silent Bob of the movie, pretty much, aren't they? Yeah. But yeah, what was it with it? Was there actual gangs like this in the 80s in America? Like this would just make a great like film festival with Savage Streets, Death Wish 3, Class 984 with the weird like almost post-apocalyptic 80s punk gangs that apparently existed in that time period.
Yeah, like extremely stylized, and they all have like one specific gimmick, like the like baseball or something, or
or like have a very specific haircut, or face paint. Like I don't understand why the leader of these gangs is always like the most normal looking one.
Yeah.
Like Nick Cassavetes in this, apart from looking 35,
yeah,
and hanging around with a bunch of
doesn't match at all the others, does he?
Like he's got like a haircut that you could get away with working in a bank, and the rest of them look like they're from the fucking Road Warrior.
Yeah, it's just kind of. I suppose if you're gonna like give them a style, it's like they're just greasers, aren't they? Basically,
Yeah, they're
like,
pretty 80s gearheads, I guess you'd call them.
Yeah.
But they're just, also homicidal psychopath druggies as well.
Who surely wouldn't be allowed to just rage unchecked.
No.
Because I mean, let's start at the start. The opening scene. So basically, they're just highway pirates.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So they force a young couple. They're like force a young couple off the road, pretty much, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna race you for your car, and I want your pink slip." And if you lose, then your car's mine.
Yeah.
They take the girlfriend as hostage.
Yeah, with the threat of like rape if he doesn't go through with it.
Firstly, why don't they just take his car? It seems like an unnecessary inconvenience to have to race for the car.
Yeah, like they're already, put the shits up them. They're scared. They would probably give them like their clothes if they asked for them. But I guess they've got like morals when it comes to cars.
Yeah, some sort of weird moral code. They've got to win it.
Oh, wait, we can't just nick his car.
But then the fact that so he races him. He loses obviously because Thingy cheats, Packard cheats, and then the guy is like, he's surprised that he cheated. I loved that in the movie where it's just like, why is he like acting like, I can't believe you cheated?
I can't believe you've done this.
These are people that held your wife, your missus at knife point and threatened to rape her, and you're like, oh, you didn't play by the rules. So it's kind of funny. And then also, wouldn't you just phone the police? Like immediately.
Yeah, but I mean, apparently the police in this town are kind of useless. It's just apparently Randy Quaid doing anything.
Just sitting in laybys, eating burgers and stuff.
Yeah. That is one thing I do love about the movie. I love like the Arizona desert town setting. For some reason, I always like movies set in like those type of areas, like small desert towns. It's very atmospheric.
Yeah, I think it's like very similar to Tremors in that way. And I think in some ways it just like bright sunlight, like locations that are like really well lit and like wide open skies, big blue skies. It makes films like this look way better than they have any right to.
Oh yeah, you just got like extra budget in nature, basically.
Yeah.
Just in your surroundings. It's amazing.
Because I mean, the Blu-ray that I watched, it's really, really nice. Really, like, pin sharp and stuff.
Yep.
Gorgeous. Yeah, really good, like, restoration that they've done on it.
Yeah, and it's a well shot movie, and like all the car stuff looks great.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a lot of the angles and stuff reminded us of the way they shot, like, you know, the Mad Max movies, the low slung car like speeding down the road and stuff like that. Like, so all the stunts and all the car stuff. I guess that's, you know, that's where all the money went, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's about like 4 or 5 big car chases in the movie, all around like canyons on cliff edges, which look super dangerous.
Yeah, oh yeah, God. Yeah, definitely. Not to jump ahead, but the big stunt with the car carrier thing when it gets crashed and stuff. And
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. And the guy, I didn't make note of his name, but the stunt coordinator was the guy that did Hooper and stuff. He did like all that.
Oh, I did notice a familiar name on the credits. Yeah, and I forgot to look up. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, because Hooper's insane for car stunts. Yeah, it's one thing. It's one of those films that doesn't really explain what the fuck's going on. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, it jumps about, doesn't it?
But like, there's some really odd, matter-of-fact moments that during the scene, I'm going, was this supposed to be here? Like the moment where after the Wraith kills the first guy in a car chase.
Yeah.
Sorry, a car race.
Yeah.
And then he just turns up at the garage with a shotgun.
Yeah. And
just starts blowing the place apart, and they're just like, whoa, man, calm down.
Yeah, it's like, and then he shot on the same day or something.
And then he just leaves.
Yeah, they're not even, like, put off that much.
No, it's so weird. That's what I was thinking. I was like, was this supposed to come in the third reel or something?
Yeah, like, Packard is like, I was laughing, I was watching it with Stacey saying, no wonder Packard's in charge, because he's a fucking cool cat, like.
Jesus
like, nothing
Christ,
phases him.
Yeah, and it's not like he's like on drugs like the rest of them or anything. He's fucking straight edge, apparently. Maybe he has a beer.
Doesn't like the Wraith like literally point a shotgun right at him at one point?
At his forehead. He's got a big spaz shotgun.
And he's just like, fucking do it. I don't care.
And then he just like moves to the left and shoots the glass behind him, which would have burst his eardrum. But yeah, it's just such a bizarre scene that he just comes in, wrecks all this shit, and then leaves, and they're like, well,
that's extremely inconvenient.
That was rude. And then the next day they're just like, man, we're going to get that guy. Where is he? Where is he? I'm like, he was literally at your house last night.
Like, why didn't you just do something then?
Yeah. And there's another really odd bit, because obviously the flashbacks throughout the movie of the like Charlie Sheen's original character being killed with, and it turns out it was with the Kerry character, Sherilyn Fenn. Yeah. And then, like, at the end of the film, she just casually says to Packard, oh yeah, it was you on it. You're the one that stabbed him and that. Yeah, I know it was you. I'm like, what? Why are you so calm about this?
Yeah, like, wouldn't you just be furious all along? Like, you wouldn't entertain them at all. Like, I like didn't pick up on that until the very end. I was like, oh, so she was the one in the flashbacks.
Yeah,
like,
she's supposed to have just like had amnesia. I know, like, they show you them covering her face, but she seems like she's got amnesia of the whole thing. She says, oh yeah, he was murdered. Don't know how he died. Yeah,
there's definitely a weird disconnect with like the past and the present in the movie. Yeah, that's like, I guess it's probably just because of, like I mentioned at the start, all the like producer interference with the movie. It sounded like a nightmare. I know that apparently the director on one day was given a call sheet that had 110 shots on it.
Jesus Christ.
And he was just like, like 28 days was too long for the producers. They wanted it shot even quicker and stuff. It's like,
I mean, it does feel like one of those films where they just went, oh fuck, like, we don't have time to do this, we'll have to make do, and then fix it and edit, and it kind of doesn't work. And I'm like, that's not a major criticism, because I still enjoyed the movie, but
no, I think that the film stands, to be fair, as massive testament to Mike Marvin's like ability to direct. To be fair, because I think in a lesser pair of hands, this film would be an absolute piece of shit. But for all intents and purposes, it is a really entertaining movie.
It's a very fun movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to pick up the Blu-ray.
Yeah. I can't remember. It's by
Vestron.
Yeah, that's it. Vestron. Yeah.
Highlights, I guess.
I mean, the car stuff is really cool.
Oh, it's on the actual car itself, which is like, it was like some prototype. There's only like a handful of them in the world, or at least there was.
Yeah, it was just the one, basically. It was a Dodge, 1982 Dodge, like a turbo interceptor.
Yeah.
Which apparently was going to be the title of the film. until
Yeah,
the
that's
bottle
what I
at the
mean.
last minute.
The German title Interceptor, like in various parts of the world, it's called Interceptor instead of the Wraith. Yeah, I guess easier to translate. I suppose.
Yeah. But the car itself, although the proper car is only in the movie for like one shot, but it cost like 1.5 million. The car, so they weren't going to race it around.
Yeah, they're kind of lucky they gave it to them at all, really, for like a low budget sci-fi movie.
Yeah, but they're like basically like created their own versions of the car.
Yeah,
and,
like body
modeled it.
kits. Yeah.
I think it's right at the start, basically, when you see it like driving around.
The beauty shot. Yeah. Which I must admit, the opening scene is very epic when the car appears and he stands there with the backlight. Like, I do remember seeing the video box in the video shop as a kid and being like, but I never rented it for
Just
some
never
reason.
got around to it.
I think I really would have enjoyed it when I was like 10.
No, me too. I think I messaged you that. I said, like, how have I not seen this so far? Like, as a kid, I think I would have loved this film because it's, we all loved fucking cars and helicopters and stuff in the 80s for some reason.
And especially around this time, when like Knight Rider was still, well, at least in 86, Knight Rider was still big.
Yeah.
It would have been around the time we probably saw it for the first time as kids.
But yeah, no, that just, a lot of the car stuff, I think that, as you said, some of the low slung camera angles and stuff, I got like Terminator vibes.
Yeah.
Like when she jumps on the bike with Charlie Sheen and they're like racing away from, I think it's Skank and Gutter Boy.
Yeah.
And there's a particular shot, and I thought, God, that just properly looked like something out of Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Like the way the camera's like to one side of the bike.
Yeah, I think there's a few things in this movie that people have like kind of stolen over the years.
Yeah, I could believe it. Like just a few shots here and there, and I thought, oh, proper Terminator 2 vibe there. But yeah, the Skank and Gutter Boy stuff, really enjoyed. Like when, is it like Skank shoots the bottom of the car by accident?
Yeah.
And it flips
Moron.
over. True heroes of the movie, like, undoubtedly. Hey, what about you, though?
I was going to say, it's their deaths, isn't it, when the Wraith just drives the car into the garage?
Yeah, it just pelts in and blows up.
Which is one of those explosions where you're like, Jesus Christ, they used just like 85 sticks of dynamite to blow that up. But like, fucking goes.
It does. Thankfully, that wasn't an entire building, apparently. It was a flat, like facade sort of thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of does look like more like a set when they're inside, I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah,
just
a
the
massive
way it,
pile.
Yeah, it reminds us of that explosion at the end of it's Friday the 13th 7 when they like blow up the house. And I think it's that one where you can see the camera shake because they actually put too much explosives in it and it wasn't supposed to be that big. It looks like one of those explosions where afterwards they were like, what the fuck?
Everyone's got like red hot faces and
Yeah.
stuff.
Everyone looks like a cartoon character with like soot on their faces and hair sticking up. Speaking of hair sticking up, though, let's talk about Clint Howard's fucking hair.
Yeah, he's a razor head hair.
Well, that's what I was going to say, right? Every time, like, if I watch two movies in a row, normally, if sometimes it's just like, I'll just be like, that's interesting. Like a weird little tenuous link between the two.
Yeah.
The link between this and Action Jackson. Clint Howard's hair looks like Henry from Eraserhead. In Action Jackson, Vanity's guitar player's wearing a Eraserhead t-shirt.
Bloody
There
hell.
you go. That's the theme of this double bill,
like
a
it.
Eraserhead.
Yeah, I like it.
Sometimes the link can be like, oh, this is interesting. Two scenes in separate movies of people eating spaghetti, but this one's really specific.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But yeah, bless him, Clint Howard. He gets himself around in some low-budget sci-fi stuff.
He does. He's like the king of like, fuck me, Clint Howard's in this.
Like he plays like a scientist in like The Tick or something, or Ticks. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's like a monster movie where ticks get really big.
Oh yeah,
people.
yeah.
I think it may be The Tick. But
He's in that horror movie Ice Cream Man, where he plays a murderous ice cream man.
I could believe him as a murderous ice cream man. To be fair.
He's in like one of the video nasties that I've never seen called Evil Speak,
Right.
where he plays like a nerd who summons a demon through a computer to kill his bullies. I think that's the plot.
Nice. Oh,
That's
bless
maybe one for the show sometime. I've always wanted to see it.
Clint Howard has had an insane movie career when you look
He
over
has.
his films.
He's one of those guys who's done everything. pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Worked with most people. Yeah.
I think it all just starts with Star Trek. He was like an alien.
Well, that's like a hell of a start, though, isn't it? You start with Star Trek, like the original series, in one of the more like notorious, like not notorious, but like infamous favorite episodes.
Yeah.
It's one of the more memorable ones, isn't it? With that alien on the screen and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It just puts you in like everyone's house at the time in the 60s. You know, everyone saw it. Well, 60s, 70s.
And he's like, when you say him when he's young, you're like, it's never going to be one of those cases where you mistake him.
No.
You go like, oh, that's Clint Howard as a
Yeah.
kid, obviously, because he looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it's something about his eyes.
But yeah, he's fun in the movie. He's like the most innocent one of the group.
He's just the engineer, isn't he? Basically, he's just
They keep him around because he knows what he's doing, and he's kind of like awkward and bit of an outsider. But like it kind of establishes he had nothing to do with the murder.
Yeah. And
He's a latecomer. Yeah.
So he survives as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, Randy Quaid, but he just goes, go home, and that's the last time you see him. And I'm like, oh, well, Clint survived.
But I mean, you know, it's a great movie, very enjoyable. But criticisms, I think there's some things to pick out. Like, to be fair,
well, I didn't really have the criticism I had was just that like. But I didn't care. It was just that they'd never really try and explain what the fuck's going on. Like, how did he come back? Why does he have this car? Is he an alien? He seems to come from space.
You know, it's the modern day problem, isn't it? Trying to over-explain and fucking
that's what I
origin
mean.
stories and stuff.
Yeah, when you watch like a movie from like the past couple of years, and then you watch something like this, it seems like you kind of it's a comforting feeling of like, oh, thank God, it's not just every line of dialogue isn't exposition and story.
But having said that, like, why is there like bits falling off him constantly whenever there's a crash and like a crutch or something gets left behind? Or...
Yeah, it's sort of like crutches on like sort of braces on his arms and legs.
Yeah, I didn't get all that.
I was thinking, like, is that injuries the gang inflicted on him? But they never really show that in any of the flashbacks, so I don't know. That's what I mean. It feels like it's about half an hour cut out the movie.
The fact that whoever he kills, their like pristine body is left behind, but with no eyeballs.
Yeah,
they never go into that.
No,
like,
that's what I mean. It's like a Lynch movie sometimes. Speaking of Eraserhead, where you're just like, so are they going to explain this now?
Nope. So you know, it's like some of that's definitely like it's a bit weird. But having said that, apart from like the nitpicky stuff, I do genuinely think it's a really good film.
It's a very fun movie. Yeah, and I'm kind of annoyed that we've got to our 40s without watching it.
Yeah, mad.
Yeah.
I suppose we should mention as well, obviously, speaking of like, just me head went on a trip there, Cheryl.
Yeah, of course. Cheryl and Fenn, another Twin Peaks,
Twin Peaks.
like Lynch connection. Yeah. I hardly recognised her at first.
Did you?
I saw she was in it, and then when she first appeared, I was like, oh, she's cute. And I was like, oh, that's Cheryl and Fenn. It's because the main thing I've seen her in is Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
So whenever I say her name, I expect it to turn up looking like Audrey.
Yeah.
With the short black bob and stuff and like the 60s dress. But, she's looking very 80s in this. You know what I wish would come back?
Yeah.
When women used to just wear an oversized shirt and a belt and call it a dress.
Yeah, to start the film.
That needs to come back, I'm sorry.
She just literally got a shirt on.
Just a shirt with a spangly belt. That fashion needs to come back.
Did you see, obviously this is all over IMDb and stuff, she was dating Thingamajig at the time. Fucking floppy chops.
Floppy chops.
What do you call them? I'm looking at my notes. Oh, I can't believe my brain's purged his name from my brain.
Floppy chops.
Oh no! Ew.
Brad Pitt.
No.
Hugh Grant.
He plays the pirate fella.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. That's him.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't think I've heard that before, but I can totally see those two being a couple in the 80s for some reason.
My brain just erased Johnny Depp apparently.
Yeah.
They were dating at the time, and the director wanted Johnny Depp to be one of the villains because he liked the look of him, but the producers were like, nah, we don't want him, he's a nobody sort of thing.
I would have just been like, fuck, he's too pretty.
Well, yeah, that's maybe the problem as well.
I could see him as the Sheen role, definitely.
Yeah, interestingly. Yeah, maybe he just missed out on it. Yeah. But yeah, he apparently was on the set a lot and stuff, like hanging about and stuff.
Probably doing bloody drugs with Charlie Sheen.
Best. The terrorways that they are.
I can't say that. They were smoking cigarettes is what they were doing.
Possibly. Allegedly. But the only other interesting trivia that I just wanted to mention was it was filmed in January, which I can't remember exactly where it was filmed, but wherever it was filmed, it was like extremely cold.
Yeah, it was Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah. So it was like bollock freezing, including the scenes where they're all by the like lakeside.
The lake, fuck. Yeah.
They just made it look warm, but actually, apparently, it was like fucking like just above freezing when they were filming it.
I'm sure this was already in the script anyway, but there is a line where Charlie Sheen says like, "Water's a bit too cold for my liking, but I'm glad the sun's out." It's even now.
Yeah. I wonder if it was an ad lib.
Probably.
Because apparently it was like real. Like, I seen like some like quotes about it. It was like hell to shoot those scenes because everyone was just sat around with like huddling, putting a towel around themselves to try and stay warm and stuff. And
I bet Sheen couldn't wait to go to the Philippines and sweat his bollocks off.
Too right.
One other highlight: the soundtrack. Jesus, the soundtrack's stacked.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, that's one thing. Again, apparently the producers just wanted like loads of music in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like a fraction of it, but you got Ozzy, Motley Crue, Billy Idol, Robert Palmer, and my hero, Stan fucking Bush, with the Kickboxer soundtrack.
Some of the posters actually call out the music as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like the actors' like names are in small print, and then just at the bottom like massive. Like it's almost like you think they're in the film, but it's just the soundtrack.
Yeah, I'd say that movie, that 80s movie Trick or Treat. It has like it's a heavy metal like horror movie, but Ozzy and Gene Simmons have like tiny little cameos in it.
Yeah.
But all the budget DVDs over the years has just got Ozzy on the cover, making it look like Ozzy stars in the movie.
Just disappointed.
Yeah.
Only found to say it.
But yeah, it's great sound, and it's like obviously I think these songs were like brand new at the time, but it's songs like "Addicted to Love's" in it and like "Rebel Yell."
Yeah. Yeah. Where you think, God, if they made this film now, like the money they would have to spend to get those songs, crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a hell of a soundtrack, hell of an 80s rock metal soundtrack.
Yeah, obviously, whoever was the main push in getting the music in, one of the producers, they must have just been like, a big lover of music, I guess, or something.
Yeah. It's just what all the kids were listening to back in 1986.
Certainly were. All that rock punk music. Like fucking Wasp and Motley Crue and whatnot.
There's another song on the soundtrack as well where it's during one of the races, and I kept thinking, this singer sounds so familiar, but I just couldn't think who it was. But it's one of the bands that, the scene in Friday 4 when Crispin Glover does his dance.
Oh yeah,
it's the band that does that song.
Really?
But it's just because that scene, I guess, is so ingrained in my head. I was like, I feel like I know this band. So I think that's pretty much it. I guess is there much art? I'm guessing no.
No, sadly. The official, I quite like the official poster. The one that's on the cover.
The official poster's amazing.
Yeah, just something. I mean, it's not very reminiscent of the movie. It kind of makes you think you're in for a Spielberg ride or something.
Yeah, it feels more like it's going to be a dark sci-fi than it is, but at least it's not fucking lying. That shot is one of the first shots in the movie. Yeah,
true. Yeah.
At least it's a shot from the movie, not like some video boxes back in the day where you go, "Oh, this looks amazing," then you play it and go, "Where the fuck was the box?"
You lying bastards.
Where was that shot of the barbarian guy cutting the head off a dragon? That wasn't in the movie.
Back then, when they just did anything they could to get you to rent the film, basically. Mm-hmm. Yep. But no, sadly, no proper art out there. There was going to be a Commodore 64 game that they were working on.
Oh yeah.
A company called Digital Force was making it in 1988, but sadly they never finished the game. So there's an early prototype version you can download apparently, but I don't think it's like a full level. It's like the title screen and something else.
I mean, I could see a movie like this making a perfectly fine racing game, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and just something that's like Spy versus Spy or something, or just kind of pinches from another game but puts the Wraith kind of skin on it.
Yeah, I mean, if a couple of years later they could have just skinned Road Rush.
Yeah, totally.
Or Outrun or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I said as for the Blu-ray, got a very nice release from them, the Vestron Collector Series label, both in the UK and the US. It's chock, two commentaries, bunch of interviews. And like you said, you watched that transfer and you said it looks great. So yeah. And it's cheap at the minute, actually. I checked Amazon. It's only $12.99 at the moment. So
could be tempted, yeah.
I'm going to have to pick it up.
It's because 2021, wasn't it? It's come out. So it's still somewhat fresh, but something like that will go out of print. Yeah,
because I've never bought any of those Vestron Collector Series releases yet, but they've released some good stuff. Just all the stuff that was like on the Vestron video label back in the 80s and 90s and stuff.
Well, apparently, with this version as well, because there was a big lingering problem with audio of the movie.
Oh, okay.
And I think in the cinemas, because basically the producers were like pushing to like cut corners and save budget and, you know, less time, less money constantly. And they got the film, like the stock, developed by like a really like low quality company. Like the cut corners on getting the film cans made, basically. So like one of the common complaints when people saw it in the cinema was they just couldn't fucking hear any of the audio. It was like muffled and low and stuff.
Oh shit! That's not what you want.
And they fixed it to some degree for the video release, and it got like its popularity through the video release. But apparently they like remastered again the audio or something for the Blu-ray and really cleaned it up.
It's the version I watched sounded great. So, yeah.
So yeah, it's just cool that like, you know, films like this get that amount of love and attention. It's really good.
Yeah, it's the way it should be.
Yeah,
Even like the worst films deserve to be preserved in some way. I think.
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Champion Cinema.
So we're going to move a couple of years forward to Action Jackson, released in 1988. The runtime of 1 hour 36 minutes. Directed by Craig R. Baxley, who was the stunt coordinator from The Predator.
Yeah.
So
Directed a couple of the favourites, Dark Angel, the Dolph Lundgren movie, and that movie Stone Cold that I've always wanted to see.
yeah,
I've never seen it. Yeah.
No, it's we should just do a Craig R. Baxley sort of thing.
I love his name. I don't know why the name Baxley.
But speaking of Predator, it stars half of the cast.
Oh, it's insane.
So Carl Weathers as Detective Jericho Jackson, Craig T. Nelson as Peter Delaplane, Denise Katrina Matthews, a.k.a. Vanity, playing Sydney Ash, Sharon Stone as the lovable Patrice, Tom Wilson, a.k.a. Biff, playing Officer Cornblow, Bill Duke as the captain, the angry captain, Robert Davi as the token Italian guy, bless him. Sonny Landham has a quick cameo.
As himself.
As himself, basically, to carry on the Predator reunion. And yeah, a few other, just to quickly mention, Mary Ellen Trainor, of course, because you've got to have that Joel Silver connection. And a few others, like the dude that played in Die Hard, what's he called again? Delamue White or whatever he's called. I just forget his name.
The guy in the lobby in Die Hard.
The guy who he plays the limo driver.
Oh, Argyle.
Yeah, Argyle.
Yeah, the guy who played Argyle.
Yeah. I didn't make note, but I always know he's got a mad name like that, like Delamere. I'll think it'll come to us. And I can't not mention Al Leong, obviously, as well.
Well, yeah, and also it was someone we just talked about. We talked about a little voice cameo he did recently. Chino Fats Williams as Kid Sable.
Yeah.
And who was like one of my favourite That Guy actors, and he has a fight with Al Leong. I was like, this is like a super fight between these two. Those guys have a fight. What the fuck?
Legends clash.
Yeah.
So, what's Action Jackson about?
A tough Detroit cop uncovers that a powerful businessman, who he has a history with, of course, is killing off his competition with the aid of an elite group of mercenary bastards. Framed for murder and on the run with the bad guy's mistress, it's up to Jericho Action Jackson to kick some ass and settle the score.
Nice.
Yeah, so an attempt, I guess, to give... the idea apparently was formed during the filming of Predator. They kind of were talking about the love of blaxploitation movies, and then a guy in the crew came up with the title Action Jackson, which is what I've read, which is interesting. Yeah. And then obviously from the Joel Silver produced it, so it does have that Joel Silver like Lethal Weapon Die Hard feel to it. Yeah. And plus you've got Michael Kamen doing the score, but with Herbie Hancock. So you've got like a score that kind of sounds like Lethal Weapon Die Hard, but with a bit of funk on it, which is nice, and its own stamp to it. But generally, what did you think? Because it's one of those films I've wanted to see for years and just constantly never go around to. Yeah, you know, I'd see it at the video shop all the time, look cool, but. So what did you think of it? Yeah,
I liked it. I probably wanted it to weirdly, because of the name, I probably wanted it to be a bit more actiony at the start.
I was surprised, not that action packed.
For a man who calls himself Action Jackson, for the first 30-40 minutes of the movie, he's just kind of being a cop.
It's like more of a detective movie, like a private eye detective. Even though he's a cop, it feels more like a private eye movie or something. It's interesting though that like I don't know if this was an intentional, like conscious thing, but like there's barely any gunplay in the movie.
No,
and Carl Weathers maybe shoots one, like 2 shots at the end.
Yeah,
and a grenade launcher, but it feels like they were trying to distance themselves from like just constant machine gun fire of like Die Hard and Rambo and all that stuff. I don't know whether that was on purpose, but about the hour mark, I'm like, yeah, this isn't very gun heavy for an
really
80s action
point,
movie.
Though. Yeah, definitely. It feels like a film that probably had people pulling in different directions to some degree, because like like some of the mercenary stuff doesn't feel like fleshed out or right in the movie. The start of the movie, they're like fucking ninjas or something.
Oh yeah, they're just like disappearing behind people's backs in the blink of an eye and stuff.
Yeah. And then they just never kind of come back to that, really.
No.
Like, it's kind of strange, and then he just beats them at the end. I don't know, it just feels like they changed their mind halfway through with what they wanted to do.
Yeah, there was a point in the movie where it seemed to like switch, and like all of a sudden you just don't see anything of the bad guy for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it feels like, I don't know if this was the case, but I was kept thinking like it kind of reminds us of one of those movies where you hear later that it was just 2 scripts jammed together.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It's almost like I could believe either they filmed it with it being a bit of a comedy in mind and then changed the mind, or vice versa. They like filmed it with an action in mind and then decided to add some comedy to it.
Yeah.
Or something, because it's just tonally a bit of a strange film.
Yeah, because I think like some of the back and forth dialogue is good, like some of it works, but there's just like the whole opening scene with the bag snatcher and the 2 cops, and them like hyping up who Action Jackson is, and it just kind of, when it gets to the reveal, it's just a bit like, is that it?
Yeah, because there's like you said, a young guy who's. It starts on him. He's casing like people in the street. He grabs a bag. He ends up getting his head kicked in by this angry woman. 2 cops stop, take him into the police station. Like you said, he's gonna rip your balls off, and he's like the meanest sucker in the precinct and all that sort of stuff. And then when he finally runs into him, Action Jackson's just kind of like, okay.
Hey, you've spilled coffee all over me paperwork, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. I mean, it's funny later on when he keeps like running into him. And like, I love the bit when he's in the bar and he walks in and just grabs his pants and runs out. Like, that generally got a laugh out of us.
Speaking of the cops, that got a laugh at me. That when the like locked up prostitute, when she kicks Biff in the nuts.
Yeah,
I did laugh at that. When I can't remember the line, but she says something about like blowjobs or something maybe, and he says, "What about foot jobs?" And she says, "Oh, for you, I'll give you a foot job for free." And then she just hoofs him in the nuts.
Right in the nuts. Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, just the camera angle and stuff. It's really shot like good comedy sort of timing.
It's a good nut shot. I will say one thing though, like the whole thing that gets the plot going with because it's established that Jackson is like being kind of demoted, and he's kind of an office, like a desk cop now.
Yeah.
Doesn't have his... Well, I think they do briefly establish, don't they, that he'd had to turn in his gun?
Yeah, and he'd been busted down from a lieutenant.
Yeah. Because he roughed up, like, basically this, like, rapist who was the son of this powerful businessman who was the main bad guy. So what does Bill Duke do? He goes, I need to go to this dinner tonight, but I can't go. I'm going to send you, the guy speaking is the dad of the guy you fucking maimed and put in jail. And I'm like, why would you do that?
It's a bit antagonistic.
But then he's like, gets annoyed at him for getting mad. I'm like, you just made him mad.
Yeah. And like, somebody that's actually called Action Jackson as well. Is this the right choice as police captain? Should I put him in charge of this entire situation?
Hey, loose cannon, possibly psychopathic Jackson, get in here.
Yeah. I got a school that you need to like be in charge of looking after and stuff. And he's just like, God damn it. And he sees the news later on and the school's on fire and stuff. But yeah, Bill Duke though as the token angry captain.
Yeah, I wish he was in it more. It's kind of a cameo, isn't it? He turns up at the beginning and in the end, which is a shame because you can't be Bill Duke, the scary man that he is.
Yeah, he just has such screen presence and stuff.
He does. Yeah. But yeah, worst captain ever though for giving him. Like, he literally started all this shit.
And then at the end, when he's like, "You did a hell of a job. I'm going to promote you to lieutenant." Like,
Yeah.
would he though? I mean, he's killed everybody that he investigated throughout the entire movie. Like, there's no evidence left because it's all been blown up and stuff. There would probably have to be a lengthy inquiry.
I think about 4 or 5 innocent people got shot in the whole melee at the end.
So, yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about Sharon Stone. It's always one of those weird things. I always knew she was in this.
Yeah.
In one of her, like, because this was just before
Yeah.
Total Recall, like before a big break, and
Very
then Basic
young.
Instinct, obviously. Yeah. So like, it's one of those things where I know it's just like not a star at this point, but I was still kind of surprised when she died when she did.
Yeah, it's a
Just
shock.
that weird thing where you're like, wait a minute, Sharon Stone shouldn't be dying. She's a big
Yeah.
star at this time. But no, this was like, here on her way up.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting that obviously later video releases of this movie, they like put her face like massive on the cover,
Yeah,
like behind thingy Call Weathers. Obviously cashing in probably on Basic Instinct time.
Yeah,
I
most
feel.
likely. Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, no, she's like plays a good part and stuff. And yeah, it's kind of tragic when she dies. You think, fuck, what a bad guy that guy is for just killing his wife.
Yeah, he was obviously still under the mystical powers of the tequila worm at this point. I think, from Craig Tino.
Well, yes, of course. The big bastard that he is.
I'm assuming someone just saw that, because I don't know how often he played bad guys, but like,
Yeah, that
he's
performance.
terrifying in that bit in Poltergeist too. So
Yeah.
the writer was like, he'd be a good villain in an action
It's
movie.
like two villains that are the most terrifying in Hollywood. It's Drunk Dad from Poltergeist 2 and an angry Superman.
Yeah.
The junkyard scene.
Yeah.
And well, him in the bar. There's
Yeah.
something about those two characters. They're just like, Yeah, I tell you what though, would you kill your wife in that fashion? I don't know. It seems like a lot of hassle.
It seems a bit risky, yeah, but I guess he's one of those characters that's probably like got that much money, he just doesn't care.
Just
and he can
covers it
just
up.
hire someone to cover it up. Yeah.
Shooting at point blank range whilst just pressed against his chest.
Yeah, I was thinking
well.
like, the forensic aspect would be a bit of a nightmare.
The clean up job and stuff.
Be like, well, I'm setting fire to this room.
And like, how would you explain a disappearance?
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't be
I feel
able.
like no one asks about it.
He wouldn't be able to get a divorce for
No.
ages. So you'd
No.
be like technically married for like a decade or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, maybe I'm just nitpicking.
No, that's kind of ridiculous, but
Speaking of ridiculous things where people are getting shot, obviously, I think Robert Davi does really well in the bit that he's got in this movie. The paranoid skitsy friend.
Yeah, I always like Robert Downey.
Yeah, really good.
And he does genuinely look like he's been awake for 4 days, just smoking
Yeah.
cigarettes and drinking whiskey. He looks fucking wrecked. Like, I wonder if he did stay up a couple of days. He seems like one of those actors that probably would do that.
Yeah, just like real method actor.
Yeah.
But I love that the stupidness of, so he gets assassinated by the black guy, the assassin dressed up as a delivery man. And he shoots him at his front door, and obviously blood sprays all over the door. He shoots him like through the clipboard, and blood's everywhere and stuff. And in like a later scene, he's like on the slab in the coroner's, and like somebody's like, "Oh, it's a suicide." Like, it's a suicide. Like, talk about just like the plot fucking just servicing like the movie moving on or something. It's so weird.
It's like, man, he was one tough bastard. Shot himself 3 times in the chest.
Like, it clearly wasn't a fucking suicide. I don't know. Maybe it was police corruption. Maybe it's,
I mean, I did kind of chuckle at that anyway. The guy's like tore apart his apartment for bugs, I guess.
yeah.
He's been awake for 3 days. He's super paranoid. He's paranoid about Action Jackson
Yeah,
coming to see him.
but-
And then the guy's like, delivery, it's Amazon. He's like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Everybody loves a parcel though.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's bright me day, a parcel.
Totally. Like, he is a little bit paranoid. Look, he should have looked through his peephole or something and be like,
Yeah.
"Who are you?"
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a, like I said, I love him in the role, but that whole bit was just fucking stupid. To be fair.
But I guess the main female lead of the movie is 80s pop star Vanity.
Yeah, somebody that Prince discovered.
Yeah, this one of the Prince ladies.
Yeah, she plays a decent part. I feel like, some of it's a bit cringy. in terms of the lines and age.
There was one whole scene in the car where everything seemed ADR'd, obviously, but it seemed really obviously ADR'd on Vanity. And for a while, I was like, have they just dubbed her entire performance? Because it didn't sound like her from the scene before. It was just something really awkward about that car scene.
It was, wasn't it? Because I kind of, at the time, I put it down to, like, she's just doing, like, maybe she's not very good at acting, like, intoxicated.
Yeah, because she's supposed to be a bit stoned at that point.
Yeah, like, she's just taken, like, she's just had an injection and she have heroin or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they even say what it is? It's like a giant fucking medical syringe.
Yeah, I don't think they ever do, but I think it's probably like clear heroin and you know, like language, like he calls her a junkie and stuff, and things like that. But yeah, I think there's just one line where Thingy's like, "Oh, give me 2 good reasons for liking you," or something, and then she takes the top off. I don't know. I was a bit like, like, oh, Craig, no.
Oh, Craig.
And there's a bit where she's doing like a private dance for him, and he's just there looking bored. And then she goes over to him and she's like, "Well, how was it?" And he's like, "Oh, you know, it was okay, whatever." And she's like, "I was expecting a standing ovation." And he's like, I'm giving you it." And it took like a minute to register. I was like, he's talking about his hard on. I was like, oh, Craig.
Come on, Craig. Show some respect.
Fucking tequila worm making you act out.
But no, it's just fun, and she's very pretty.
Very pretty, yeah, definitely. I think, sadly, not to like take it to a dark place, but very troubled young lady. Ironically, like talk about like life imitating art. The other way around, like she did have like lots of demons and drug problems. Yeah,
it was like a big cocaine problem, and like that led to like liver failure when she died. Yeah, it's really sad. Fucking sad. Yeah, awful.
Because obviously she never really. Looking down her IMDb, it's a lot of like TV movies and stuff and that. And I
think this and like probably that movie, The Last Dragon, were like her biggest, most high-profile roles. Yeah. And then just very sad.
Yeah, definitely.
One scene I want to talk about, the bar scene when he goes to like, is it to find his informant at like some bar?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that scene?
Yeah, where they take him down and they're going to cut his nuts off and stuff.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, where's such and such?" And he's like, "Oh, he's in the back. He's in the cupboard." And it's just a pair of nuts in a jar. And then he gets bottled. And then they act like they're going to rape him. Yeah. Like, what the fuck is going on in that scene?
It's a very strange film.
Yeah, and is the big guy, is he the dead tired guy from Commando? I'm sure it was.
I think about it, actually. Yeah,
I forgot to check.
About it, yeah.
As soon as he turned up, I was like, wait a minute.
I recognise that man anyway.
And you got Miguel Nunez as well from Friday 5 and Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, it's a very fucking strange film for that. The tone's just a bit strange.
I didn't really understand that scene because, like, they're holding him. The two big guys have got Carl Weathers' arms. Miguel Nunez is brandishing a knife. They're talking about the fact that they cut his friend's nuts off.
Yeah.
And kind of being like, there's a few like kind of sexual innuendos there. Then he says to his friend, like, "Oh, you talk to him. He ain't giving up no ass." And I'm like, "What? What's going on?"
And then Vanity comes in and it's all like, "Oh, you found me like mentally
insane
challenged brother."
Yeah.
And then he acts a bit simple and it's like again comedy and then weird darkness all rolled into one.
But then straight after, though, you get a bit of Carl Weathers punching action, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, definitely.
I still maintain, I don't know how good he was, but I still maintain he could have been like a champion boxer of some kind.
Not to jump straight to my highlights, but whenever Carl Weathers has his top off, like,
I was just going to say, that's
granite.
Literally in my notes. In my notes I put, "Can we just talk about shirtless Weathers for a bit?"
Like, good God. Like,
he's generally got one of the most impressive physiques ever, I would say. Yeah. Like, he's not like giant like Arnie, but he just looks like a fucking like a world class athlete, basically.
Yeah, so like chiseled and stuff.
Yeah,
and he takes 2 prime opportunities to get his top off.
Yeah,
like just coming out of a shower, and then like at the end,
when torture bit with him, just for some reason took his top off.
Like took his top off and greased him up.
He's like, "Tie him up, get the baby oil out."
But like, let's take advantage of that fucking beautiful body. I pissed myself laughing as soon as like it cut. It's like a comedy cut when it just goes through and he literally looks like glisteningly shiny.
Yeah, they proper oiled him up for that shot specifically. Lit him within an inch of his life.
Yeah, very good. But yeah, what about we mentioned it, but Sonny's cameo.
Yeah, because that's in my highlights. I just put my highlight was Sonny Landham turning up on set uninvited and trying to stab Carl Weathers.
And he even gets his I think I said I don't think we're recording, but he gets his laughing.
Oh, he laughs. He's like the fucking Joker in this scene, man. Jesus.
It's great. Gets chucked. You don't see this very often in a movie. He gets chucked out of the window and into another one.
Yeah, like building to building. I rewound that a few times. I was like, Jesus Christ, was that a dummy? But now it's just a super impressive stunt.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, I've never even seen that in like a Hong Kong movie.
No. Yeah, very creative.
But yeah, it's kind of like, it's a great who's who of action movie actors of this time. It's like a greatest hits. It's like a Cannonball Run almost.
Yeah, just like a massive list of like names, and even like there's the guy that gets crushed by the car at the end. Like he's somebody. I can't mean to check. He's like a guy that's in like something.
The guy in the opening scene as well, Edo Ross, he's in like 48 Hours, Lethal Weapon. He's another Joel Silver guy.
Yeah.
It's like, you work with a guy like Joel Silver in the 80s. I mean, people just, he rings him up. Oh, you've got this little role for you? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and just come and do it, yeah. Because even like Edo Ross, the guy, first guy that gets...
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, I'm sorry, I missed the name. Yeah, he's like one of them guys that's like... Does he always play like a twat?
He's usually, he's a bad guy. He's like a... No, that's what he's in. Sorry, he's not. Don't think he's in. He's in Red Heat. He's like the Russian bad guy in Red Heat.
Yeah.
And he's the guy that like watches Busey set his arm on fire in Lethal Weapon with the lighter.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, he's one of those guys from the 80s. You're like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah, it's like hard to pin down where you know him from because he's just one of them faces.
He was in an episode of Curb as well.
Yeah, was he? Like more recently.
No, it's you might have seen the episode. It's the one where Larry gets a sandwich named after him at the deli, but he hates it.
Yeah,
he's the deli owner.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah, of course.
And he's like, you don't like your sandwich.
Yeah, of course. God. Yeah, he's in Universal Soldier as well, isn't he?
That's right, yeah. I was trying to think there's one more film I know him from, but it's that,
The Twatty Colonel.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, just Sonny Landham's just the icing on the cake when he turns up.
Like, they must have just... Maybe Sonny, like, overheard the conversation and he was like, can I be in that movie? And they're like...
oh, fuck, I can't say no.
Just let him.
He just got on set. He just turned up on set with the knife and yelled action, and Carl Weathers was like, all right. I guess.
We're doing this. He's like, I can throw myself through this window. And he just did it. They're like, fuck, thank God we had a camera set up. Total nutcase.
I love that running joke we have now.
That is just
every time Sonny Landham just turning up and going, I want to play this character now.
I just love that Predator trivia of like he had a security guard on set and everyone was like, fucking hell, he's a bit up himself, and we're not going to hurt him. They're like, no, it's not for him, it's for you.
It's for you. It's to stop him from killing other people.
Like, how much of a psycho have you got to be?
There is that movie we've talked about once or twice doing on the show where like it's one of the few times he's the lead in an action movie. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. We'll have to have a look after this. Fire something. It's got fire in the title. But yeah, we'll have to do some Sonny Landham solo stuff. Just not his. I don't want to do his 70s porn. No, I don't want to see Sonny Landham getting down to business. It sounds scary.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think of that movie where the Category 3 movie where he bangs a lass and chucks out a window. Yeah,
Robotics. Yeah, that's. I imagine that's what it's like. Yeah. Another highlight for me was the moment Carl Weathers just punches out an entire windscreen with one punch.
He does,
and then somersaults over a car.
Or just the fact that he like basically outruns a speeding taxi.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, that's another bit when like he just takes off, and you're like, how the fuck was he not like a marathon athlete?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's because he's was he like a linebacker or something?
I think he was an American football player, wasn't he? Yeah, he just has that like that speed and like agility.
Crazy run.
Yeah.
Speaking of Craig Nelson acting up, when he just randomly kicks a Chinese guy's head in.
Yeah, I don't know if this was the purpose of the scene, but when like you think like, oh, he's rich guy getting his kung fu lessons, and then he's like, lessons over, and I'm like, oh, he's the teacher. And then needlessly breaks the guy's arm.
Yeah, like what kind of a lesson is it? Is he teaching him like a mobster kind of a lesson? Like he's for screwing him over, he's going to break his arm, or was it just
teaching him fucking mobster foo?
But yeah, needless. He's a big stunt guy. I think.
Yeah, he's in like I think he's in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah,
Lethal Weapon 4. Yeah, you always see him pop up. Yeah.
It made us think of thingy, Once Upon a Time in America, basically. Just some American guy throwing some shade on
Yeah.
some American
Tarantino got
Chinese
the inspiration from.
seeing this film. But yeah, I guess it ham-fistedly sets up the reason why they have a bit of a fisticuffs at the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, that scene is only there, so it makes sense that Craig T. Nelson could hold his own against Carl Weathers at the end.
It doesn't just immediately get battered.
And it's the mid-'80s, so every bad guy had to have some sort of roundhouse kick ability.
Totally. Yeah. But speaking of very 80s things, the sort of big line towards the end when he shoots the guy with the grenade launcher.
Well, I was going to get into that. I was going to get into the weird one-liners in the movie. That was kind of in me criticisms. That one I like.
Yeah, how do you like your ribs?
How do you like your ribs? Then shoots him in the ribs with a grenade launcher. Then it cuts to a barbecue with ribs on it. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
But there's some fucking weird ones that he says chill out to a guy before setting him on fire. I'm like, no, you got it the wrong way around.
It's like one of them things where he was driving away and he's like, I should have said this instead.
And then at the end, when he just rams a guy into a wall full speed with a Ferrari and then says, you lose.
Yeah.
I'm like, what were the plan?
Yeah, some of the patter doesn't quite land on this film.
No, I think I'd say the main problem with the movie is it needed a script polish or something. Imagine it's Joel Silver. Imagine if you just gave Shane Black a ring and went, could you maybe give this a once over?
Yeah,
that's what it needs. It needs it needs to be tightened up and it needs a bit more wit, that Shane Black wit.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, there's just certainly early on and stuff. There's just a lot of the back and forth of the cops and stuff, and just some of it doesn't quite feel natural.
No, it feels a bit hammy, I guess is the word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that it's fine, it's fun, I enjoyed it, but there's a better film in there. It's one of those movies, I think.
Definitely. Yeah. Could have been saved in the edit a bit more, basically.
But it's a shame though, because looking it up, it didn't cost that much, but made over 60 million. It was a hit.
Yeah.
And there was plans for this to be the first of a franchise, but then it just, through various reasons, it just never happened. Yeah. Which is a shame. Because it does feel like that, doesn't it? It feels like a pilot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Something up. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I saw that obviously in Germany they renamed Dangerous Passion to be Action Jackson.
That movie we're looking at with him and Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
They renamed it Action Jackson 2. Classic Germany. They don't care.
It's whatever. Get people to watch it. They're just very confused by it all. So is he Action Jackson or not?
I think they should have just released Creed as Son of Action Jackson.
Oh, the only other thing I wanted to mention was I thought some of I think it's an 80s thing that's just generally, but some of the night stuff looked really nice. When they're driving around, when they're in the car, we mentioned when she's kind of drugged up and stuff.
Yeah.
It looks so nice. The cinematography really stands out. There's just stuff.
There's a reason for that. I can't remember what there's a reason why night scenes in movies looked a lot better back then. I think it's to do with the type of bulbs in streetlights.
Right, yeah.
At one point, they changed them to a different type of bulb, so night scenes just don't look as atmospheric anymore.
Because there's just so many movies of this time period where you're like, whoa, that looks nice. Especially when they're cleaned up on Blu-ray and stuff and that.
I like a nice shot of a car going down a rainy street in a dark city with some saxophone on the top.
Definitely.
That's peak cinema to me, I'm sorry.
Just 24 hours or something, basically. Or the driving bits in those films.
Yeah.
Not 24, 48 hours.
Yeah, it's fun. I would say if you've never caught it before, it's definitely worth the watch. Just to see, Carl Weathers in a leading role in an 80s action movie produced by Joel Silver, lots of familiar faces.
Yeah. I think, to be brutal on it, if it wasn't for Carl Weathers, this movie probably wouldn't be that good. And I think he kind of carries it. I think, no, that's maybe too hard. It would be very generic if it wasn't for Carl Weathers.
It would, yeah. It would be an interesting movie because it's all the familiar faces, like I was saying.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, just something about his charisma and stuff, less than.
Yeah, he's a super charismatic guy. It's such a shame that his solo action career didn't really work out for him. It's annoying.
Yeah, and I think maybe in some ways as well, it's kind of a criticism of this movie. You want more from Carl Weathers in this movie.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You don't really get it.
Yeah, like we're saying, the movie's Action Jackson. I was expecting a bit more action.
Yeah, isn't there a bit in the movie? Is it where Delaplane's like, oh, what, you had some sort of nickname, and he's like Inconvenience Jackson or something. I can't remember. Oh, what does he say? He says something like dramatic, like Jackson or something. And I laughed. I was like, to be fair, he's kind of like, he's right. He's not really Action Jackson at this point in the movie. He's more just like fucking Inconvenience Jackson or something.
Didn't have quite the same ring to it.
Champion Cinema.
I guess no, like merchant art and stuff, sadly.
Well, there's a few little bits. Only that I just wanted to mention like some of the poster stuff, really. So obviously, the one that you kind of see the most of, where it's like him back to back with Vanity.
Yeah, which growing up, like seeing that video box, I always thought it was easy, like it's a sort of like a blaxploitation Bond.
Yeah.
He's in like a tux it's basically from the last scene, isn't it?
And
in an outfit Vanity never wears.
Yeah, so it's a bit like misrepresented of the movie.
It's very much just for the poster type.
Because it's totally View to a Kill rip-off, basically. It's with Roger Moore and Thingy Grace.
It
back
is.
to back. They'll just ripped that directly off. But the Italian movie posters, so much better.
I can imagine, yeah.
So it's done by Enzo Sciatti.
I was going to say, is it Enzo Sciatti?
I mean, who else? I'll just send you a quick and dirty screenshot of the piece there.
Oh, that's fucking amazing! Yeah, and you got shirtless Weathers, him with a cigar, looking all slick next to Vanity. That's an amazing poster.
It is, isn't it? Really, really good. Like, I kind of want that poster.
I want that on like a collector's edition steelbook or something. Oh, that's class.
So yeah, like surprising nice art out there, and like I said, they redid the poster, assumedly in the 90s when Sharon Stone was big. So it's kind of like the goofy one with them kind of spread eagled, I think, from memory. Oh, well, there's a few different variations actually. Looking online, there's one with the back to back, but it's got her face massive in the background, and then another one of an action shot of him with his red top on, but it's just all Sharon Stone's face.
Yeah,
just repurposing somebody's like popularity. It's interesting.
You can't beat that Schneidy tactic.
But no video games, sadly. No, not even on the NES.
Or the Commodore 64, which seemed to have a lot of dodgy ones as well.
The only thing that I was looking about for toys and stuff, just to say, and I noticed in the 60s there was an Action Man, a black Action Man figure released, and he was literally called Action Jackson.
Really? That's interesting.
So I wonder if something was
that
like...
could have had some influence on it as well.
Yeah. Just interesting, but sadly there isn't many Action Jackson figures out there.
Now, sadly, we're picking movies lately that like don't have a lot to talk about when it comes to that type of stuff.
No,
annoyingly,
more obscure sort of stuff.
Like even when it comes to the Blu-ray side of things, because this has a Blu-ray, but it's just the Warner Archive, the made-to-order Blu-ray service.
$5.99 sort of stuff.
No, it's a label that's set up for stuff that basically, if you order it, it's made to order. So you don't find them in shops. I think you can just get them from Warner Archive website.
Mental.
Like that's what their release of because they own Drunken Master 2 now.
Yeah.
That's what the American release was of that. It was just a Warner Archive release.
Good.
Like a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the only. They're always just bare bones, nothing on them, just to actually transfer the movie.
They're a weird company for that, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always had a problem with them just from the early days of DVD with their shitty cardboard snapper cases and stuff.
Oh god.
You're like they just look shit. They don't fit on the shelf properly.
Yeah, they don't last either.
No.
Even when I looked after all mine, but they fell apart. Really randomly.
It's just you're constantly worried if something gets spilt on that, it's fucked.
Yeah. Yes, not good.
So yeah, this feels like a film that 88 Films should get a hold of and try and do a special edition or something like that.
Throw some love on it. Yeah. See if there's any extra footage out there that ties the film
bound to be
together.
even just a little making of made at the time. Those 10-minute EPKs they would always make for almost every movie. There's bound get someone to do a commentary. I don't know.
Yeah.
Craig Baxley's still around. Get him to do a commentary.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hopefully that'll happen at some point.
Yeah, he will. I mean, it's sad to say, but maybe with his passing, it might promote, this sort of stuff. People being more interested in doing cold weather stuff.
Yeah, that is a weird silver lining about stuff when an actor passes away. You do get more love thrown their way with certain movies. Like, you know, that box of Burt that came out after Burt Reynolds passed away, that big Blu-ray box set and stuff like that. So.
It's literally, I witnessed it firsthand working at HMV, where like big actors or musicians would die, and it would be like company-wide policy, like, right, get their films at the front of store, and people would literally come in and buy the films based around who had recently died.
Yeah.
It's like, God, mad. I guess it makes sense. People want to fondly remember the person that's died and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, strange.
But speaking of Mr. Boyd Reynolds, next week on the show, we're going to have a Burt double bill. This is supposed to be earlier in the month, but because I was sick, we fucking couldn't do it. Because it was the boy's birthday this month.
Yes.
So we're going to do a hot double bill of City Heat from 84 and Heat from 86. Nice. It's a hot Reynolds double bill. Sweaty Reynolds. So yeah, that'll be fun. Some Reynolds.
Yeah. I've had a pile of Reynolds movie to watch for a while. Like, about 6-7 films, so good.
It's long overdue doing some more Reynolds on the show.
Definitely.
Because it's been a long time since we've talked about like Cannonball Run or anything like that. So.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, until then, you can follow us on Instagram at Champion Cinema Pod. I changed the name.
Yes.
I'm not even going to bother with an email address. What's the point?
Yeah.
It's all social media now. It's like having an email address feels like having like a PO box.
Who emails now? Fucking granddad.
I can't remember the last time someone sent me an email.
Just get a letter one day in the post.
But yeah, go give us a rating and review on iTunes and whatever podcast platform you use. That would help us very greatly, a lot indeed, and stuff.
Smash that like button. I hear the young'uns say that a lot.
Well, we're on YouTube. I do put the shows on YouTube, so yeah, smash that like button. Hit the notification bell, and I don't do that. I never do.
Nah.
I have no notifications.
Who turns notifications on?
No, I don't know. Probably
psycho.
Nobody, because I definitely don't. Now and then I'll get a notification and be like, oh, for fuck's sake, just turn it off straight over.
Uninstall the app out of disgust.
So yeah, until next week with some Reynolds, I'll see you down the pit.
See you on the heap.
Goodbye.
Champion Cinema.